what is the specific role that you are working on? What is your team's role, and what is your role?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely. I would like to say that coming to my current roles and responsibilities, I like to say that was actually working with Wells Fargo in the Phoenix, Arizona location. So that is my current client, right? And I got good expertise in the utilization of Ansible configuration and the deployment, and also working on environment configuration files, and then also working on the various kinds of GitHub Enterprise and they're creating, and continuous integration and deployment pipeline, and also working on Ansible agents. So in this case, apart from the process responsible for working on the deployment of the Jenkins, so in this case, so in the runtime servers and the working on the deployment of testing and other kinds of pipeline, in this case, and creating various shell scripts for working in the Atlassian tools in products, and then working on the Jira and the Confluence, and rotating the environment, some of the past, and also working on the Docker for building our application, and got some experience with the various of first the stakeholders in terms of the shell deployments, and then also working on the creation of the Ansible playbook and the Chef cookbook, and then doing the configuration management of those environments, and then also writing various kinds of cloud formation templates and using. And I was also using Terraform templates and using them for creation of the infrastructure in the infrastructure. So in this case, and I'm also responsible for handling the stakeholder level inputs of this, and responsible for some of the release management of this case, and handling the configuration management in the release. So the scan and the handlers, and in utilizing templates in this case. And in the part from that, I also got some experience in various services for deployments. In this case, also using the CloudFormation integration with Amazon API, and creating the continuous integration and deployment pipeline on the runtime services.
Okay. So you mentioned both Ansible and Chef. So are you using both of them at your current location, or is it what is your primary configuration management automation?
So basically, we are using Ansible for deployment automation of the blue-green deployment, and then coming to the Chef, so we are using it for configuration management and state management of the machines, so which are there in the infrastructure. So the main difference, and they have a good experience in utilizing in the previous projects as well. So I would like to, say this. So we use both. Yeah.
Okay. And you also mentioned about the cloud formation. So do you write those cloud formation templates, or do you use a template that was written by somebody else?
Sure. So I would like to say that I'll be writing those cloud formation templates from the scratch, and then utilizing them to able to run the various in the cloud formation deployments, particularly in this case, and then so trying to handle the cloud formation orchestration on those kinds of environment, and then this environment is part of the third-party services, and then get those approvals from various stakeholders. In this case, so definitely this is what I was actually working on, the creation of infrastructure functions in this case, and unhealthy cloud formation templates, and so So in this case, this is also release on the part of the pipeline. So for the release management of the pipeline, in this case, which was handled by the team members and then releasing on the various stakeholders, and then getting the approvals from other runtime environments.
So in terms of your both cloud or on-prem, right? How big is your infrastructure?
Sure. So my infrastructure, I would like to start saying that we have more than 500 services in the current infrastructure. Like to say, and then we are having various kinds of service level missions, which are apart from also having some services applied on the infrastructure environment and keep them running on the cloud level environments, and have those environments and then handle services in terms of application level survey. And yeah.
Okay. So like you said, the 500 services, right? What is the typical technology stack of that?
Yeah, sure. So we are using the Java technology stack and hitting the Spring Boot recently. And then apart from that, you're also having some of the Node.js applications. In this case, Judgment B lies on the runtime server.
Okay. Well, what about the operating system?
Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
What operating system that you're running?
Yeah, sure. So coming to the operating system, so we are using the Linux and also using Ubuntu. And also that I would like to say in this case, also using the Ubuntu servers and also using the Red Hat Enterprise server like RHEL 7. We are currently using RHEL 7 and Fedora. And we're also using Amazon Linux and Windows 2012 and 2016. And we also have a local servers on Mac server for them.
Okay. So, Ashok, are you part of a build and release team, or are you part of the infrastructure team where they also update and patch operating system and then configure the network parameters in terms of load balancer, in terms of?
No. Actually, I'm just a part of the build and release engineering team, setting up the Jenkins from the scratch and then writing this Groovy based, and then creating the custom integration on the group with the various testing tools. You know, and they're responsible for handling the testing integration and all the things.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And how comfortable are you working with Red Hat with respect to operating system? Do you have root access and you are exercising your root privileges, or like are you just working with build ID and your application IDs?
Yeah. So so basically, coming to the Red Hat Enterprise server, I would like to say that actually I'm very much comfortable with the Red Hat and having the patch management of the Red Hat server, and apart from also responsible for some of the integrating the application environments and then create that as a part of the application servers and handle the runtime servers in this case and deploy that on the target missions. Apart from that, also getting these Linux environments and get those handled apart from the environment deploy goes on the runtime integration servers.
Okay. So with respect to security remediations, right, what type of security remediation tools that you have? Or do you have any tool that scans your environment and ensures that you have a right level of security patches with respect to operating system? Or if you're running your Java stack, is it giving you the right level of scanned vulnerabilities? And how would you resolve that?
Yeah, sure. So coming to the security remediation too, level, like I would like to say that that have been actually working on the remediation of the management and the OpenSSL packing. And then apart from also responsible for handling the match integration, in this case, the Java environment objectives, and then handle the ways can handle the vulnerabilities in this case, and also responsible for how we could work on the application level service. And I would like to say that, and then also working on how we could work on security, fixes of the application environments. In this case, which can help us on the runtime servers.
Okay. So, with respect to, you mentioned about OpenSSL, right? What are some of the typical, say, CV codes for OpenSSL?
Yeah. So coming to some of the difficulty codes of the SSL. So basically, we can use your potential command line interface with the X510 inside the regulatory. Specify the randomness inside. Specify the randomness inside then, and then the protocol, which is going to be either the 100 other kinds of protocol in this case. So which can be done, use it for generating the output, and then use that in the import of the certificate in this case.
Okay. And what tools do you get this vulnerability from? Like, say, so you probably have your security team that runs the scan, right?
Yeah. So coming to the vulnerability of the tools, so we can actually get it from various which is running out there using security scans by the security team, like OpenVAS, also OSS EC. Also, we have a security pen testing software as well to do it also, and Hydra, and also the Wireshark.
Okay, so you use all of them, or like what is one particular tool that you are using?
So these are the tools, all of them, but we just get the final report, send in the React to the particular batch management of those missions. And I would like to say, so basically our team and I will should use all of them, but we will just get the final report, in this case.
Okay. All right. So are you dealing with your production systems, or you typically work only on the non-production?
So handling the production, okay. We'll be also working on the production environment, as well as doing everything in the production environment, to be able to run that on the ground level services, and then create a kind of environment which should be used for the real-time integrations. So in this case, we can actually handle this on the third-party services, and create a kind of application level security framework, which is better be used, Hello?
Yeah, I think I thought I lost you for a minute. Okay.
Oh, okay. So did you hear what I just said?
Okay, can you? I think I got it.
Okay.
But how big is your, like, say, how long have you been supporting your production? Because the role that is we are looking for is directly working on the production environments and supporting the production. What is your experience directly dealing with production systems and then ensure you are having the right performance troubleshooting and analysis on that?
Yeah, sure. So I'm in supporting the production from from a couple of years, doing the real-time debugger of the production issues, and at and the equation, so understanding how the production can be fixed on the runtime environment, and then apart from that, also how we could create the injury of the application level performance metrics, and which are going to be used in this case, and then use those metrics to be able to create a kind of baseline performance, and then also raise the tickets in the service now, and then actually go deep dive into log, and then try to understand how and what is happening in this case. And then apart from that, also looking at the production performance is happening in this case, and then take the performance metrics from there, and then put it on the target environment.
Okay. So what is some of, say, one of the high priority production issue that you worked on and that is challenging to you to resolve, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah, sure. So bureaucracy center production downtime of the database because of a lot of requests coming from the part which paneled by the Kubernetes Kubernetes autoscaler. That was actually because of the autoscaler was the miscalculating of the requirement and spinning of unnecessary pod, which was pending a lot of the database request on the runtime of the database, which is actually kind of handling it really nice and kind of going down for preparing for event and allowed in the database and show the database connection.
When you say database, right, what database are you referring to?
So I was referring to MySQL.
MySQL, okay.
Yeah.
What version of MySQL?
The MySQL version is like 6.
Okay. And how did you overcome this issue?
Yeah, sure. So I found out that there was a lot of unnecessary connections because I was looking at the show process login. It was showing me just initial query, so which is created by the part. So when it actually started, I would like to see in this case and specify that on the runtime environment, and actually restarted the master cluster, and then we adjust the parameters of the manifest inside the Kubernetes, and which would lead to think that this is a fresh cluster, and then some of the parameters, and restart a couple of nodes, which would help me to flash the replica cluster, and then do the docker prune command, which will help me to remove unnecessary containers from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ashok, I think that's all I have. Do you have any questions with respect to next steps, right? Like, I think you probably have already got scheduled from my technical screening folks, right?
Yes. So I wanted to know, like, what is the team size and what is the day-to-day activities in what are the next steps? So I know. So are they going to call me again, or are they going to connect to the same same call? How is this going to work?
No, I think my technical guys will call you for a 30-minute technical interview, hands-on um, technical screening part, and then followed by that, that will be two levels of technical screening.
Yeah, it will be in
Potentially,
8 minutes, right? Yeah, I wondered. I got three invitations, from the vendor, so I thought, yeah, okay. Um,
yeah, so
so
it will be totally three, right? It's including my screening. So
yeah,
and
exactly.
then plus
30 minutes,
two
30 minutes, 30
technical,
minute rounds.
yeah. So there will be a deep dive technical screening session, and then followed by that, I'll have you uh, come over here for a hands-on technical screening, which will be with a lot of whiteboard sessions and whatnot, coding, and also writing up some Ansible or Chef modules that you have been exposed to. And then if you have a cloud formation, we'll also uh, get an understanding of that. So those are the typical levels of interview. You will be having at least 5 or 6 technical rounds before the management comes in for the additional screening.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds
All right.
awesome. I'll just wait for
Any
them.
questions?
No, I'll just grab some water. Meanwhile, they call me. That's all.
All right. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Bye.